Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today we're in for a treat. I'm going to be giving you an inside look into a reel that's not generally available here in the U.S. This is a Shimano reel. It's a bait feeder, and it was actually sent in to me from Lee. Lee is in Germany, and Lee can't find anybody to service his reels. Wow, kind of interesting story there. He called up Shimano, and they said they don't work on it. It's not sold here. He asked me if I could get involved in this. So this one is an M or a medium bait runner. It is a Shimano XTB LC long cast CI4 plus, and the CI is carbon infusion. That's what it says. Interfusion. Okay, we're going to take it apart. We're going to give you a look at it. We're going to start by taking off the exterior pieces and parts. We'll start by taking off the spool, and if I can talk over the noise that it takes to take the spool off, I will remind you that I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, and if you do subscribe to the channel, please use that notification button. It does help to let you know when I'm posting videos, which are frequently. On the subscription, you'll find that I cover all kinds of reels. Today we're just going to do an inside look, but we do full take-aparts and services. We do the repairs of reels, all kinds of reels, freshwater, saltwater, spinning, trolling, bait casting, you name it, it's there. So we've taken that off. First thing we see is the click ratchet for your little click tongue here. That's going to make the noise when your spool is going backwards. Inside that little basket there is a couple of spool height adjust washers. Sometimes they're easier to get off than others, but you can see inside there there's a metal and two plastics, I think, inside there. When I take my pieces and parts off, well, they go into a parts tray. That's my system of organization. Take pictures along the way, particularly this one. We couldn't even find a schematic on it. That's how crazy this one is, right? But notice on this one, you have this kind of air rotor or whatever they want to call this little piece. This piece has two tags on it when you go to take it off, one on each end. And if you're not paying attention, you don't notice the two slots, one on each side of the rotor. And if you put it on like this, not noticing the slots, well, you're just going to get a constant knock, 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 knock kind of a thing when you go to put that back on. So be aware of that. I'm going to leave those big parts off to the side for a moment. And then for whatever reason, probably it's the easiest, they put this annoying E-clip right on your spool shaft there. And, well, that's got to come off to get the rotor off. This is an interesting reel all around. I just serviced Lee's other one. I figured I would show you what's going on with this. And this is got a weird slot to it, kind of hard to get it off. But if you work on it, you will. I don't know why they chose this particular thing, but they did. There we go. And that E-clip is going to go in the basket for safekeeping as well. With that off, well, you need a long extension ratchet to get the next part off. And if you notice on the inside here, they were kind enough to put unscrew and an arrow going that way. Now, I always thought this is kind of interesting. From what I understand, this is a Japanese domestic market product. We have unscrewed in English here. Little curiosities keep me going from time to time. Okay, with the rotor off, we can remove the bail. It's a high bail. It's a long cast reel. Very old technology here. This is one of the earlier sets of the anti-reverse clutches. I can get that little ratchet off there. Oh. Underneath here you have the rotor shim washer, and then you have the spacer sleeve for your anti-reverse clutch. And then next up off of that would be the bearing. All right, remove this. And I'm just curious what's going on inside this reel. That's what I thought I would share with you. That's what we're doing with this. So On these, I always recommend leave that screw on here That'll hold your positioning of that click ratchet. It won't disrupt any springs internally. But there is the extra arm with the, I call it the dead end. That one you want to take out. And there's also the screw holding that piece together. So I'll take that off. And then Shimano does what Shimano does. Just for whatever reason, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 case screws. These two are different from this one, which is different from those two. Go figure, you have 3 different screws in the case here. And Shimano is a king of that. If you pay attention to the videos I do, I always tell you take the screws out, lay them on your desk, and make sure you note if the screws are longer or shorter, have a different thread, wider, whatever. And then note where they belong. And this is one of those cases or one of those examples why you need to do that. Those 2 screws, the small ones, come in the back here. Then we have one that's a little bit shorter than the 2 on this side. So as you go about doing the assembly and the disassembly of the reels, you need to know that the long ones are here, the short stubby one is up top, the 2 thinner, longer ones behind that trip lever. Alright, well this is going to give us the inside look that we've been talking about. You want to know the mechanics behind here. This is a learning project to share with you what I've learned. Okay, once you have those screws out and have identified where they belong, it's a good idea to put them into the parts tray to take care of them. Alright, here's our inside look then. So the screws are out. We should simply be able to pull up and out on the plate. We have a bearing here. Might as well oil that while I'm at it. And then the inside is kind of an interesting inside to this one. This is pretty much the same setup as the earlier Shimano bait feeders, in that it has an overlap here with the trip arm assembly here. Let's take that off for your view. And I find it amazing that Lee couldn't find anybody to service the reel. Just goes to show you. I imagine that it all centers around parts availability. If you were to say, I'm going to service the reel in your Shimano service center or your Shimano by itself, then you have to stock parts for it. And when the part's not available domestically, or in the US, I guess this would be, well, you'd call it JDM, but it was made in Malaysia. You go figure out where it's being sold. But you got to stock the parts. If you stock the parts, then that's a lot of expense for reels that may never come into you. Those 2 steel screws, or steel colored screws, are different, so those will be a little bit easier to identify. And then on this, we should just be able to lift this up and off and out. And there's 2 pegs here. That's going to become important when you go to put it back. There's one broad hole is here. The other one is on a spring load. You can see that underneath here. And then let's bring this down because we do have an assembly in this one. And this one's kind of curious because it's a combination of 2 of the things that Shimano kind of gets known for. One of them is you actually have a worm and pawl driven oscillation system. That's reminiscent of like the Stratix and the like. Now let's pull the main gear out, we can show you. Then you have the main gear. That's that Shimano Halcyon, or I don't know, change the names on me and I don't remember them. But that's a big main gear. And the studs on the other side of this are the trip mechanisms for your bait feeder reel. So there you go. You have your old school anti-reverse clutch, instant anti-reverse. If you do go to remove these, remove the 4 of these screws. Do not remove the 2 black ones. If you remove the black ones, you're going to disrupt the springs and the cylinders inside. I guess one final, here's the look we can Maybe we'll take that off and show you. Again, lay them on your table. I didn't put the glove on because I didn't think I was going to get my hands dirty, but something jumped out at me and caught me. And these four should be the same. With those four out, you should be able to remove your cover. Inside your cover, as we mentioned, is your spacer. Your rotor. And then underneath that we have the pinion gear assembly here as well. So there you go. That's kind of an inside look. It's a little bit more than an inside look. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to clean this up for Lee. We're going to re-lubricate it, and we'll check the rest of the pieces and parts. But an interesting one, and what I would tell you about this reel is it very much shares the earlier 6500 that was so popular with, well, with everybody. It was one of the best bait feeding reels ever made, and it shares the trip mechanism capabilities, the main gear, your anti-reverse to some extent, and it changes though in that it becomes a worm drive oscillation system. It should be smoother and should lead to smoother performance all around. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the inside look. As I mentioned, I'm going to just take a moment now. I'll glove up. I'll go service this reel, get this reel back to Lee. But I thought it was interesting enough because he sent it to me from Germany because, well, can't get it serviced there, and apparently can't get it serviced here either. So happy to step in and kind of give him an assist, with the caveat that, of course, that if parts were needed, I have no access to those parts. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. Before we leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. I want to thank you for watching, for helping to make the channel what it is, and for, well, sharing my curiosity for what makes reels go and how to keep them going for a long time to come. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day.